We're teaching you how to get a 22-inch arms in 22 days. You must do this and that at the same time. Oh yes, must be very, very good. Haha, just kidding, you guys. There ain't no 22-day shortcut for arms. But we are going to do how to set up the hammer curls for rope. But first I'm going to go ahead and do some stretches, and then we're going to go ahead and get the setup going along with that. Then we're going to go into proper breathing, improper form, proper form, and then we're going to move forward to the muscle groups that this exercise works on, along with the injury chart at the end. And also, if you guys could give us some more ideas, comment below about what you think we should add to the channel, or what we should also change and add to the channel as well. Just let us know, and let's go ahead and get stretching. Alright everyone, here's our 3 stretches we're going to do. This one, I'm just going to grab onto the legs right here, the Bowflex, and press up. This is going to be stretching your shoulders, back, and a tiny bit of your triceps. You might not feel it as much, but you'll feel it just a little bit. Hold that for about 10 seconds. Okay. Alright, on to our next stretch, which is going to be underneath. So instead of here, we're actually going to pull our arm downward like this and up the opposite way to a downward position. That's going to stretch all the way through on the back part of your wrist and a tiny bit of your bicep. Try not to hyperextend your elbow. Try to keep that a little bit bent. And then switch over about 10 seconds. Do the other side. Okay. And then our last and final stretch here is just going to be over and around, but this time I'm going to point the bicep forward so that way I can pull it behind like this and actually stretch my bicep a little bit more. So this is kind of like the cross grab, but you're going to be turning your wrist this way more. Just be careful of your elbow, because if you extend your elbow too much, you can really hurt your elbow. So try not to extend it too much. Just pull toward your hip a little bit. And this is going to sort of stretch the side of the bicep around this area a little bit, and then down here in this area a little bit as well, and your shoulder as well. Okay, switch over. There we go. Now remember, you got to grab at least almost to the top of your wrist for this to feel stretching properly, because if you grab too close, then it's not really stretching this area properly, so you will have to grab a little bit further up. Alright, go ahead and start up our setup. Alright everyone, so we're on to our setup here. As you can tell, I have my seat and my bottom part up, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull this down like so. Keep my bench the way it is, and then obviously when we do these rope hammer curls, you're going to need a specific rope attachment for them. You can get them pretty much at any sporting goods place that you can think of, or even you can order them online. So next, I'm gonna go ahead and hook my hooks in like that. So there's one hook. Then my second hook is going to go on the other side, like so. nice and good. Now it's time to choose the weight. We can go ahead and choose our weight now. And you can do this standing or seated, but this time I'm going to go ahead and do it seated for you guys, just so that way you guys can see it a little bit better, a little bit more. So first things first, you're going to remain seated just like this. Grab the rope just like so with these. I'd like to call them like holding balls, or black holding balls, or whatever they call them. I'm not even sure. I think they're just more for padding for your hand. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just pull straight back like that and down. So for proper breathing, when you pull it up, you want to breathe in and down for out. All the way almost to your ears. One more time. Alright, so there's that. Now I'm going to show you some improper form that I've seen in the gym people do. Some people, they try to they try to come around this way with their hands faced the other way. That's wrong, because that's going to mess with your fingers and stuff. See how the rope's like messing up with my fingers and stuff? So that's definitely not right. Another way that I've seen people do it is they've had it opposite, and that's all right, I suppose, but once you try to like lift it, there's a lot of twisting and turning and stuff. So you don't want to have it like that, because then there'll be a lot of twisting and turning and really weird ways of doing it. And then the last way that I've seen someone actually try to do this is while you're trying to like pull up with your back at the same time. That's definitely not right. So what you want to do is have a weight that you can handle with a perfect form. And what I mean by that is when you come up, both your hands come up almost ear level and then straight down. I'll show that to you again. Face forward and that way. See how I'm not moving my head or my back or anything like that? It's all just purely arms. And one more time. And we're going to go ahead and fast forward now. Alright, that has been the setup and explanation on how to do that as well. Let's go ahead and move on to our muscle chart. Alright everyone, so we're on to our muscle groups here, and for the most part this exercise does incorporate the back of your wrists and the very tip of your wrists right here, along with a little bit of bicep action and definitely a lot of wrist action and grip action there too. So it's going to be grip strength for the front side of your hand along, and then it will also hit the front side of your wrists as well, so that this entire front part of the wrist, and then like I said, the very tip part of the wrist muscle right here, going into the bicep and to the kind of like side area a little bit. That's going to be worked, and then around obviously the back part of your hand, because grip strength requires both sides of your hand, so that's also going to be working the back side of the hand for that. That has been my muscle explanation for this exercise. Let's go and move on to our injuries. We're on to our injuries here, and our first injury is going to be a wrist strain for the wrists in this area, and that's going to be more of a strain due for your actual skeletal system. So it's going to be more like in the skeletal system for this, and it could also affect you in these areas right here on your wrist, the very top of your wrist, and also inside around where the actual elbow joint is, so the front side and the back side, so that could also affect you there as well. We'll go ahead and move on to our skeletal system for that. Alright everyone, we are at our first injury for the skeletal system, and for the wrist strain, it's more connected to your actual skeletal system than it is for your muscular system. You can have strains in your muscular system, but this specific strain is actually inside of the bone area where your where all your carpal tunnel is and stuff. So that's actually going to be in between these areas, and then it's also going to be able to affect your arm probably from here about there for the skeletal system, and you may even feel it in the back area. It just depends on how bad you sprain that area as well. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to our next injury. Alright, so we're on to our next injury here, bicep tear and or pull in the bicep, and that could be within any area of the bicep from the peak of the bicep to the back of the bicep, and this is mostly due to improper form and improper way of lifting things. Like I showed you guys earlier, the way that if you lifted it wrong or something, that could definitely tear in your bicep a little bit easier, especially considering when you're pulling straighter at a straighter motion, you're at a higher risk of injury, especially in the biceps and a little bit in the wrists as well. But it just kind of depends on how you pull it and where you pull it as well. And then we'll go ahead and head over to our skeletal system to show you where it could affect you in the skeletal system. Alright, bicep tear and or pull and or strain. Not necessarily saying that this is connected with the skeletal system correctly, but you may feel some soreness or discomfort in between your bones, between the elbow, inside the elbow, and on the back of the elbow as well, and even in your shoulder area, or even behind your shoulder area right here on the very tip of your shoulder. That has been my explanation for that. And also, before I end this, I'm going to let you guys know it depends upon how bad the tear is or rip is for your bicep. It also depends on how long the surgery is going to take. But normally for a pulled and or torn bicep, it takes about 3 to 4 months. Maximum is probably about 1 year to 2 years of recovery, as long as everything goes good with your recovery. Either that, or you could just be able to not use it ever again. Alright.
Just to remember, there is no shortcut to say 22-inch arm. Only if you know how to measure it properly, or if you put the synthol and steroid in. That is the only way for super fast 22-inch arms. You don't want that, because that's for wimps. What you want is the natural way to go, and the awesomest way to go, like a man. So go ahead and watch our channel, Muscleanix Fitness. Hope you liked this video as much as I liked making it for you guys. Still trying to untie my belt here. There we go, it's off. Anyway, like, subscribe, grab life by the horns, and as always, unleash your inner bull.